Joseph, there's been awful news in recent weeks from Tesco, but this morning we've heard from Sainsbury, its big UK competitor. How is Sainsbury doing?
Well, in the second quarter, sales on a like-for-like basis were down just under 3%, which sounds, pretty bad. And we know that the UK grocery market is, fiercely competitive at the moment, which is partly why Tesco, lumbering around, isn't doing so well. And yet, that was, for Sainsbury, that number was better than analysts expected. And Sainsbury's is a different beast to Tesco. It has sort of half the square foot. It got into convenience stores much earlier. Yes, I mean, it still has the sort of the price war pressures, but I suppose as a shareholder, you looking for somewhere to sit this rather nasty price war out, you might look at Sainsbury. However, I would have doubts about that.
So what would your doubts be? It looks to be fairly resilient, as you said.
Well, we have sort of learned from Tesco's recent whoopsie that you kind of have to look at accounting, and in particular, now that this sort of space race has ended in UK supermarkets, like this huge expansion in store space, you have to look at that, how that is being accounted for, and in particular the rent being paid on it, because after Tesco's recent sort of accounting failure, that was about sort of supplier promotions, and yet also also big issue for Tesco is its sale and leaseback of stores, which removes debt off balance sheet, but it still has to pay rent.
Has Sainsbury done the same kind of thing? Has it got a big rent bill hanging over it?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at its net debt to EBITDA ratio, it looks pretty good. It's like 1.5 times, so it's pretty low compared to the other big four supermarkets. However, if you add leases to the net debt and rent to the EBITDA, it becomes 4 times, which is the level at which ratings agencies, for example, decide that actually a grocer's debt should be sub-investment grade. I mean, that is less of an issue for Sainsbury because it doesn't actually have that much bonded debt compared to bank loans and whatever. But in a climate where sales are falling, where competition can kind of come from anywhere, you have to look at this sort of static rent bill. What is the cash flow coming in to cover it? Particularly because in terms of the cash return on Sainsbury shares at the moment, it's about 4.5%, which is pretty good, but it's quite vulnerable.
So what perhaps should Sainsbury's be doing to try and sit out this price war? It's a UK business, it's got to stay in the UK. What should it be doing as this kind of war rages around it? I
mean, you're kind of, in a way, you're still sort of committed to investing in stores. I mean, we have to appreciate that they're still adding store space, and you could tell them to stop. And you would probably tell Tesco to stop, for example, to stop building sort of out-of-town stores and actually begin selling off assets. For Sainsbury's, however, a third of that new store space is convenience stores, and that's probably the way to go. However, you have to almost expect the unexpected in terms of, capex requirements over the next few years. What if there has to be a big investment in internet grocery, or a new competitor comes into the market, and so on, and you have to decide. Should you cut the dividend to increase capex, or what?
Some tough decisions ahead then for Sainsbury's as it looks to see out what is a very tough environment for UK supermarkets. Joseph, thanks very much.